Welcome to Tech Talk with WSU Tech, where we dive into all things WSU Tech and highlight the voices within our college community. I am Mandy Fouse, and today we have the honor of chatting with the incredible Erin Haneberg. Erin, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, we are so excited. So before we get into all of the things that you have been doing, because you have been very busy, how we like to kick things off is we like for you to introduce yourself and tell everyone about what you do and how you serve the mission of the college.
Okay, so again, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. This is exciting. So my name is Erin Haneberg. I'm the director of Shocker Transfer Accelerator, which means that our transfer team works with all of our students to facilitate the transfer from WSU Tech to Wichita State. And, we feel like we serve the mission because it's all about coaching and helping our students understand their full potential so they can become more marketable and competitive as an individual. So, as Sherry says all the time, to be more marketable and competitive as a community.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about how Shocker Transfer Accelerator helps those students go from WSU Tech to Wichita State.
So there's a lot of different pathways, and we've recently implemented Accelerate, which is the umbrella over all of the different pathways. Shocker Pathway, all of our associate degrees, applied learning, everything falls under the umbrella of Accelerate. So those students, we have advisors and myself and our entire team that works with students to make sure they're on the right path and they're choosing the right major and taking the right classes, and then also just facilitating the exact transfer process. So I also have a counterpart at Wichita State. Her name is Donisha Hoffine. Her and I were put into these positions to do that exact thing, to facilitate and smooth out the process. And so students have a point of contact. And so we also just strengthen the relationship between the two institutions.
Great. So Erin, how long have you been here now?
3 years.
3 years. And really, Shocker Career Accelerator started when you came on board, right? Or were we doing a little bit before?
So Shocker Career Accelerator was in place already,
Okay.
And then this became a vision of Sherry's to do Shocker Transfer Accelerator on the academic side.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So since that has started, how have you seen it progress? What have you seen? How have you seen the impact of all of these different efforts?
Oh, it's been great. So we recently, very exciting last year because of an initiative called Shock Tank, which you
Yes.
obviously are familiar with. We were able to add a very exciting position, which Rihanna Lambert is in this position as Accelerate Academic Specialist
Great.
for a specific program at Wichita State called Organizational Leadership and Learning, we all know as OLL. And so with that addition of a position, our outreach has increased to our current students. And we also have seen from the start of our positions to fall of 24, a 25% increase in admitted students into Wichita State.
Wow.
Which was the ultimate goal of these positions, was to increase the number of students going into Wichita State.
Right. Because that's one of our goals, is to be the largest transfer institution to Wichita State University. That's 25%
increase since we started these positions. And, we get weekly updates and everything. So recently we've seen even from week to week last year, a 60% increase in admitted students. So we're always seeing increase in our numbers.
Yeah. So talk a little bit, for those that don't know, about what are these different strategies and these different pathways that students can take to go from a technical degree or getting their gen eds all the way to a bachelor's degree. What do those different ones look like, and what are they about?
So we have different ways that they can transfer. So we do have the Shocker Pathway program, which is an actual program built for students to get all their gen eds and everything done at WSU Tech, and then transfer over to Wichita State to earn an Associate of Arts degree. So that's been in place for quite a while.
Great.
And we also have, all of our Associate of Applied Science degrees where they can finish that, graduate from us, we get that associate degree, transfer over to complete the bachelor's degree. We have 2+2 partnerships. So there's a lot of different ways that students can transfer, and it's our job to make sure that they know of all of their options and opportunities.
That's great. And like the AA degree, the Associate of Art degree, that opens up doors for all different types of degrees as far as bachelor's and things like that, an associate of applied science may not open up.
Yeah, and a lot of times they can kind of naturally progress into that Associate of Arts while they're earning their bachelor's degree to kind of stack that credential.
Right.
And it's automatically awarded most of the time. So they're really excited to see, I can get that associate's on my way to the bachelor's degree.
Right. And you touched on this a little bit with the OLL degree. But let's talk a little bit about and I know this is not anything that we said we were going to talk about, so I'm going completely off script.
Okay.
But talk a little bit about how that has changed the opportunity for students at WSU Tech, how that pathway, because I think that's such a great example of being innovative and showing how students can take an AAS into a bachelor's degree. So talk a little bit about how that has changed or what you've heard from students.
Oh, it's changed a lot, actually, because that degree is allowing our students that end up with a technical degree to actually transfer it into a bachelor's degree. Because, let's just say welding, for example. Yeah. There's not always an institution they can transfer welding into equally count for something. And now WSU has said, we'll take all those technical degrees and we'll count it toward a concentration in the OLL degree. And so they can get their gen eds done with us, they can get the Associate of Applied Science with us, and then transfer over. And the beauty of that degree also is that they can count 21 credit hours of applied learning toward the final bachelor's degree from work experience and their work hours. So they log their work hours and it ends up counting as college credit.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
21 credit, that's a semester, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful degree. And so when Rihanna is able to go into her classroom visits and talk to all of these students about that degree, and those students might not have thought about furthering their degree after WSU Tech, it's opening their eyes. And she's so busy with students that are finding out, and marketing has been so great about helping us promote it. And it's strengthened that partnership with Wichita State. So, yeah, it's been a great opportunity for our students.
So what kind of doors does that open for students?
So we talk a lot to our employers at career fairs and all the fairs that we have at WSU Tech. And they have said, it really opens the door to these students that might have a lot of job experience, get the associate degree, but they're not really able to take that next step or get that pay raise or promotion or whatever until they have that bachelor's degree. So now it's opening doors for our tech degree students to move on for degree completion and get that, level up at their job.
Yeah. So if, thinking of someone on the floor at one of our aviation industries and, they're doing really great work and wanting to move up to that management position.
Yep.
This gives them the ability to get that bachelor's degree, use their work experience and their technical degree.
Exactly.
And then leverage it into that.
So now they have the skill, they have the degree, they're leveling themselves up and making themselves more marketable.
Wow, that's so incredible. So what are those conversations sound like with the students when you're talking with them about moving on to that next step or transferring? What are some of the hesitations that you get? What are some of the preconceived notions, or what does that sound like?
So college-wide, when Donisha and I were put into this position, she put together a really nice survey for our WSU Tech students that asked them all of those questions. Okay. What are your hesitations? What are you excited about? What do you know about the process? And so it was really nice because a lot of people responded and we were able to see what we need to work on. And so, of course, the two top things were one, cost, because it does increase a lot. So luckily we have a fantastic financial aid department that will sit down with students and walk them, what's the question? How am I going to pay for this?
Right.
And they'll walk them through the whole process and let them know it is feasible. The other issue was just navigating the bigger, busier campus. Typically at WSU Tech, you don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about how long it takes you to get from building to building. So we were able to find out those issues and address them. So it's been a fun ride with Donisha doing this because of those issues. We have implemented, group visit days with, let's just say, our business students. We take them all as a group, 15, 20, 25 at a time. Mm-hmm. We go to the Barton School of Business at Woolsey Hall over on the main campus so that students have to navigate parking. They have to find out where the building is. But then once you get in the building, you get a tour of the building, sit in on a classroom, meet the transfer advisor, sometimes even do a one-on-one advising appointment on the spot. So we've been able to address those issues that we found out from doing that survey.
That's really cool because I feel like once you're in it and you see it and you do it, then you know that it's possible.
Yes.
Right?
And we've done it with all the different colleges. And it's been so nice because the lines of communication are so open between us that all the colleges are finding out, hey, the Barton School of Business did this. Why don't we do this? So now we've got School
Love
of
it.
Engineering, Applied Studies. Everybody's scheduling these group visit days with us. It's been very successful.
Oh, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing how that impact and seeing like the change in a student from going from the hesitation into like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. Well, and it's exciting because at the beginning of the day, the students are kind of looking at each other like, I kind of know you, I think. And then at the end, you see them sharing contact information with each other.
Wow.
So then they'll have a familiar face once they get on the bigger campus.
Wow. That's great. Do you have a favorite story that
Oh,
you can
I do.
share about a student and this experience?
I have a couple, but one is, I feel very lucky because I get to work with students of all programs. So
That is cool.
Might meet with a student that wants to be a pharmacist and then the same day meet with a welding graduate. And I feel very lucky. But I work with a lot of our nursing students. And we had an LPN student that was we just kind of formed a good friendship. And she was just hesitating on, do I keep going? This is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a single mom. I just don't know if I can do this. And she had her ups and downs. And, like I said, our job is not just facilitating and signing a piece of paper, you're in your classes. It's really guiding and coaching them and helping them along the way. And so I got to witness this LPN student at her pinning ceremony and, shaking Sherry's hand. That was really exciting. Another one is a couple years ago, Sam Nava called me and said, I have a couple students that are recent high school graduates and they are really hesitant about going to college. They're going to be first generation students and they just don't know if they can do it.
Right.
And so I talked to them and they enrolled in classes and they had some ups and downs, a couple semesters of academic trouble, and then they'd re-enroll and back and forth. Well, this one particular student who struggled a lot getting started ended up getting almost a full ride to Wichita State recently.
Oh,
she
wow.
finished all her gen eds at WSU Tech, is almost on a full scholarship at Wichita State, and is on track with the Barton School of Business to graduate, I think, next year.
Wow. That's really taking and impacting these lives is what you guys are doing.
It's really exciting.
Showing them the way. Right?
Yes.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing those.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you seen it evolved, or what's next? What's next in this evolution of pathways?
So, we have seen our transfer team evolve quite a bit. The addition of Rihanna's position has been such a blessing in so many ways, and because the outreach has increased. But, we not only want to increase the number of students going into Wichita State, which obviously that's a goal, but I remember when Donisha said this when we first started. She said, I want it to almost seem just like you go from middle school to high school. Well, that's what you do here. You go from Tech to WSU, and it's just a natural progression. Yeah. And, really it's important to make sure that the students know all of their options, because we have students that I'll take a business example. Mm-hmm. We have students that can get their business administration associates. One additional class gets them their accounting certificate. They can also take the right gen eds to make sure they get their Associate of Arts from Wichita State and then on to their bachelor's in business. So I feel like it's our job to make sure they are aware of all their credentials they can stack on top of each other. And like I said, become as marketable as they can.
Yeah, I say that makes them more marketable in the job community. Mm-hmm. That gives them more opportunities, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
So what if somebody is wanting to know about Shocker Career Accelerator or wanting to support you in your team? Where can they go? What can they do? What would you tell them?
Oh my gosh. Well, as far as support goes, I feel so supported by everybody. And like I said, I feel very lucky because I get to work with so many different students and all the departments on a regular basis. And I feel very supported from administration to our advising team. I've worked with Sarah, our Shocker Pathway advisor, for years now, and she's always very intentional with her work. Right. And they make sure that they're always contacting me. We have a student that's ready to move on. And, I just feel like everybody is supportive of the entire process for our students.
That's great. When should a student come and meet with you?
Well, it kind of just depends. So we work with students at all different entry points. The high school, I have a really great relationship with everybody on the high school team, and they send students over all the time. Deneen is always sending students to me. Yeah. And so a lot of times those high school students want to meet early, say the sophomore in high school, because they have long-term goals, and they want to see what short-term goals they have to meet to get to that long-term goal. So I'll meet with high school students that are doing our Jumpstart program. that want to see kind of a timeline of how long it will take to get the bachelor's degree. I'll work with our current students that want to see, when am I going to be done here to move over. I'll work with our soon-to-be graduates. I met with recently a soon-to-be welding graduate who has decided, I'm so glad I have this skill and I'm so glad I'm going to have this credential, but I just don't think welding is going to be for me as a career. And so he's now going to be transferring in the fall to start either studying physical therapy or biomedical engineering.
Oh, wow.
So it just depends on the student's preference. That's why it's really important for us to get in front of as many people as we can to let them know we're here. And so it just depends on the student. And 'cause we have students that get their associate degree, might stick around another semester, finish some more gen eds, and then transfer. But the entry points into Wichita State can be different for every student.
That's really great. So, thank you so much, Erin, for coming on today, for explaining this. I think not enough people know about this opportunity. There's been a lot of work in trying to create awareness for OLL, for Shocker Pathway, for all of these things. So I just thank you so much for all the work you're doing. You're living and you're breathing the stackable credential that we always talk about. Sherry always talks about the highway and the off ramps and the on ramps. And I just see that the work that you're doing is really living and breathing and providing that way for students to get on and off that higher education highway. And so for you and Rihanna and all of your team and all the work that you guys do, thank you so much for helping these students and really impacting lives. So,
thank you.
And thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much for tuning in to Tech Talk with WSU Tech. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And until next time, stay connected and keep exploring the incredible work happening here at WSU Tech. Thank you. Thanks again, Erin.
Thank you.